Alrighty, well, hey, welcome back, everybody. Today's Sunday. Hopefully, you guys had a great weekend overall after what happened on Friday, right? We had a massive sell-off on Friday. And then we got news over the weekend that, well, things may not be as bad as we thought they were going to be. Well, I kind of told you guys that on Friday. I thought that this was a buying opportunity if you were able to buy in at that point. And now it looks like the markets are reversing on news that, well, they're going to be, working things out with China and things like that. Obviously, things are pretty much popping right now in after hours or pre-hours for the market. Markets were up as well, about 1%. Miners are up quite nicely. Bitfarms was up 17% at one point here. We'll see where they are right now. We'll take a look at what's going on there. We'll take a look at also some of the news that we do have surrounding this as well. And then we'll also get into how did the miners do against Bitcoin here this past week. And we'll get into Q&A here. So, yeah, hopefully you guys had a great weekend. It looks like it might be a fun week here ahead of us. We'll see where we end up at, though. It could still be very volatile here, but I'm not saying the worst is behind us yet because you just never know, but I think things are definitely trending in the right direction here. All right, but as always, you guys know the drill. Non-financial advice for entertainment only. Do your own research. Full disclosure below that. Hit the like button, subscribe. Helps me out tremendously here. Let's take a look at what happened with Bitcoin here today. Bitcoin had a great day today. Didn't have such a great Saturday. Saturday we were down a little bit, but it wasn't too bad. We were down 1.96%. We closed at 110,768.89 cents. Today, however, we did bounce back up after, obviously, we had some news from Trump that things are going to be worked out, possibly with China there, that, kind of blamed it on Xi Jinping as having a bad day or something like that. Okay, we'll take it, whatever it is. But Bitcoin was up today 3.88%. We were up $4,299.09. We closed at $115,067.98 there. So today was a nice little rebound here. To be honest, I didn't think this was going to be this quick of a rebound for us, but I'll take it. I thought it was going to, last a little bit longer than a couple of days, maybe a week or so, before we get some clarification from Trump. But man, things move fast in this space, and it's actually kind of nice here. So a lot of people got liquidated, unfortunately, on Friday. Heard a bunch of stories on people losing all of their basically worth or net worth, whatever you want to call it, that they had in crypto or in stocks or whatever. A lot of people, unfortunately, were leveraged, right? That's why I don't go into leverage. I don't do anything else other than just buying stocks. I was able to sleep quite well on Friday, even after everything that has happened here. And that's because I don't have leverage. I'm not worried about getting liquidated or anything like that. This is just a blip on our radar. We are going to be going up higher here in the near future, whether it's going to be in the next couple of weeks, couple of months. We are going to be going up higher nonetheless here, I think. This was an unfortunate event that did liquidate a lot of people here, which I feel very, very, sorry for those people that got liquidated. But especially in this space, in crypto and everything else, when you go leverage, you're taking on a heck of a lot more risk than you probably really need to. Just buy spot, be in it that way, and don't get yourself overextended on these things because. Well, we've seen this number of times here, and people still have not learned, unfortunately, to not go in too levered on these plays here. Okay, so that's Bitcoin here right now. Bitcoin's doing pretty good here. And then new day for Monday as well. It's up just a little bit here, 0.31% here. Ethereum also had a nice rally back. Today was up like 10%, I think, at one point. Yeah, 10.81%. So it closed at $4,156 there. It's up a little bit here in the new day as well for Monday. Miners obviously weren't trading this weekend. We should have miners trading tomorrow, right? Even though we do have Columbus Day, but it's not a holiday that closes out the markets there. So we do have those happening here still tomorrow. And if we look at the miners here in the after hours right now, we can see that BitDeer is up 5.74% after being down 13% on Friday. Bitfarms is up right now. Let's see, where's it at? Up 10%. At one point it was up 17%. And that one was actually down, or not down, it was actually up. It was one of the two miners that were actually up on Friday. They were up just a little bit, 0.719% there on Friday. Cypher right now, let's see where this one comes in at, is up, let's see, 6.66, right? It was down 5.67% on Friday. CleanSpark is up right now, also in the sixes, looks like, maybe fives. Let's see where it ends up at. Quite a bit of trading here happening in the last half hour or so since I updated this. So it's up 4.88% here. It was down 4.03 on Friday. CORZ Scientific is up right now 1.78%. It was up 2.66 on Friday as well. Hive Digital is up nicely as well, 7.41% after being down 5.03 on Friday. Hut 8 is up 4.59. So it was down 6% on Friday. IREN here, let's see where that one's going to right now. It is up. It's going to be 5, 6, maybe 5. Let's see where it ends up. A lot of trading happening in this one. Come on. Let's see if we can catch up here really quick. Man, that's a lot of trades. Okay, let's try and catch up. Let's see, overnight, 1040. We should be getting closer. There we go. Okay, it's up 5.5% right now. 5.57 now. It was down 6.39%, so it's gaining a little bit back that it lost on Friday here. Mara is up. Let's see. This one catches up as well. This is going to take a while here, it looks like. I might be better off just refreshing these pages here in order for it to catch up here. So it's going to be around 345. There we go. It's up 3.78%. So it's down up about half from where it was on Friday. Riot here. Let me just refresh this really quick as well. There we go. It's up 3%. It was down 5.7% on Friday. TerraWolf. Same thing on that one. Let's see where this one comes in at now. It's up 6.37%. It was only down 0.59%. That one fared fairly well on Friday. And then Soluna here really quick. It is up 3.3% after being down 6% on Friday on that one. So overall, not too bad, right? Not a bad start to the week here. We thought it was going to be worse here on Monday as well. But having some clarification from Trump and company there, that took out a lot of the angst, I think, in the market a little bit, and a little bit more clarification, which is obviously helpful here. Okay. Now going into some of the stories that we do have here really quick, I do have a couple of things here. So this is obviously from I can't pronounce that, the Kobeissi letter. Breaking President Trump says, don't worry about China, it will all be fine. Trump says China President Xi just had a bad moment. There it is. That's the Sunday pre-futures open post we've been waiting for. All right, that's going to send stocks up higher here. So, it would have been probably nicer if he just communicated with President Xi privately, like I've said before, right? If you do it in the open, in the public, you're going to get a reaction out of the markets, and he definitely got a reaction there. So probably maybe not the reaction he wanted, or maybe he did want that reaction. We don't know. But this is from Bach here. Nasdaq is up 1.25% in the weekend markets. Barron made his money on the short position. Eric bought the dip. Everyone's happy again. It's a melt up. Tune out the noise. And I would agree with you there, right? We don't know if there was. We're speculating there was some insider trading. We don't know for a fact. There were some things that were kind of fishy that happened on Friday, but we don't know, right? So if everybody's happy, let the markets go back up here where everybody's set, and let's get going. This is from Ash Crypto here, breaking the chances of 100% tariffs on China have now dropped to 11% on Polymarket. Market panic sold for nothing. I would agree with that as well. The market did, it was just a huge overreaction to it. Yes, obviously it can send a lot of fear in the market, but still the market just, I think it was just over leveraged, and that's what drove it all down here, unfortunately. So overcorrection, overreaction. We're back up a little bit here. We'll see where we end up later on this week here, but so far it's looking pretty good here, right? That was definitely a buying opportunity if you were able to buy at that point. And then finally here, breaking Michael Saylor post the Saylor Bitcoin tracker chart, another Bitcoin buy incoming. So he's going to be buying. He might have bought over the weekend as well. Or if he was lucky enough, he was buying on Friday when Bitcoin got to, 102,000 or something like that at one point, or wherever the heck it got down to 107,000, whatever it was. Hopefully he was able to buy in at that time. Definitely a buy the dip opportunity on it. And then lastly here, we have this on CleanSpark here. CleanSpark number 12, probably nothing on the Investor Business Daily here. IREN for some reason is out of it. I think IREN is out of it because of the convertible notes for some reason. I don't know why that would be the reason for, but it is out. But CleanSpark obviously made it here, so good things to come for CleanSpark. And then if you guys were lucky enough to listen to Mike Alfred on today's space that he had on X, he seems to be very bullish on CleanSpark going forward as well, along with obviously IREN and Cypher and company there. So that bodes well for us, all of us that have been holding CleanSpark here for a long time or even recently. It should mean good things to come here for CleanSpark going forward. And, he's had, it's been like probably 2 recent meetings, dinners with Matt Schultz, the CEO of CleanSpark there. So he obviously maybe knows more than we do, and he's communicating that to us that he's bullish on CleanSpark there as well. So that's great. We'll see where CleanSpark goes. Obviously, we've seen a lot of people on X, at least I've seen quite a few people on X going that CleanSpark can get to like 50, 60, even $80 in a short period of time here. If that happens, that's going to be right next to IREN as far as price performance has been here recently, at least for me. So I would love to see that. I'm not saying that's going to be the case here. I think it's going to take a little bit more time, but eventually, if they start executing on their HPC AI business, and if they go with the same route as IREN is going when it comes to a NeoCloud, basically, provider there, I think it will definitely help the stock out going forward. And we've seen definitely a nice bounce here in the stock as well. But that's it. That's all I got for you guys on that news here. Let's take a look at the miners, how they did against Bitcoin here in this past week, and then we'll get into Q&A here. All right. So as always, we always look at the miners here from their 52-week lows to the 52-week highs here. This should be updated today, which is obviously the 12th of October. Where's my head here? So here's where we are. IREN is up 1,066% from its 52-week low here recent, obviously, which happened around April. This thing has had a huge run up. Cypher is doing extremely well also. It's up 812% from that time frame. Hive, surprisingly enough, Hive is outperforming some of the other miners that we thought were going to do even better. But Hive is up 424% here from the bottom. So this one is doing really, really, really well. So all of you guys that did get into it, congratulations to you there. I thought Hive would be lagging behind some of the other players here, like Riot, CleanSpark, even maybe BitTier and things like that. But man, it has definitely done pretty well here. I'm not sure where Bitfarms is at. I probably need to add Bitfarms back into it because Bitfarms has definitely been having a nice run here recently to see where they are at performance-wise. Then after that, we got Riot is up 239%, CleanSpark up 198%, CORZ up 198 as well, Kango's up 178%, BitTier up 159%, Marathon's up only 90%, but at least it is now outperforming here Bitcoin a little bit, with Bitcoin being up 82% from the bottom there in April. And Strategy is lagging far behind here at 64% only from its 52-week lows here. And then you can see how far the miners are away from their 52-week highs here. We got Core being the closest, being away only 4.1% there. And then we got quite a few that are like within the 12 to 16% range. That includes IREN, Cypher, Hive, Riot, and CleanSpark as well. Bitcoin's only 10% away from its 52-week high as well. Kango is the furthest away. It's 55% away from that. Followed by Strategy, also being 44% roughly or so. Marathon, 38%. BitTier, 34% at that. And then last week, how did the miners do here? Well, they, for the most part, did better than Bitcoin did. Hive up huge, 49% last week. CleanSpark up huge as well, 21%. IREN up 18, Cypher up 15, Riot up 8, Core up 4, Marathon down actually 1%. Bitcoin's down 8%. I track it a month, Friday to Friday, as you guys know. And then BitTier was down 8%, Kango's down 9, and Strategy was down 13. So Bitcoin treasury companies are not doing that great here in that time frame. If we look at 4 weeks ago, Hive is still doing really well. It's up 74% from 4 weeks ago, followed by IREN up 55%, CleanSpark up 42%, Cypher up 38%, Riot up 20%, Core up 11%, Marathon up only 2%, Bitcoin's down 2%, BitTier's up 8%, Kango's down 3%, and Strategy's down 12%. Again, you're seeing that same thing play out here on the 4 weeks time frame. And then on the 8 weeks time frame, you can see Bitcoin's only down 3% from there. And we can see that IREN's up 179%, Hive 162%, along with Cypher 166%, CleanSpark up 96%. Then you got Riot 59%, followed by Core at 37%, BitTier 33%, and then Marathon outperforming basically Bitcoin there. And then the ones that have lagged Bitcoin have been Kango down 12% and Strategy down 15%. And lastly, on the 12 weeks time frame, Bitcoin's down only 4% from there. Everybody else has pretty much outperformed except for Kango and Strategy again, Strategy being down 25%, Kango down 13%. Big gainer here has been IREN 237%, Hive even a really, really great run here, 191%, Cypher 162%, followed by CleanSpark at 63%, Riot 44%, Core 35%, Marathon 8%, and BitTier 21% there. So miners are outperforming Bitcoin, not because of Bitcoin, but because of HPC AI potential there. So that's kind of what we're seeing here happening right now. All right. So it's great that we're getting some love, obviously, from the, I call them now BTC AI miners, because they do both, really. They're mining Bitcoin and they're also getting into the AI space as well. And so I think there's still more upside to go with these guys. the demand for AI is not going to slow down anytime soon here. It's going to continue to rocket going forward. And we should be in a nice rally going forward as well, I think. Right? Like, I could be wrong on it, but I think that we're still having a pretty good run here later on this year still. We may have a sell-off in December. Historically, we do have one towards the end of the month. But other than that, I think we'll probably continue into Q1 as well with the rally. And then after that, we'll have to see where things go, right? We got obviously rate cuts coming in this month in October. Then we also have the potential of rate cuts coming in on December as well. Those are a little bit more iffy, but we'll see once we get closer to it whether or not those rate cuts will come through for us or not. So we do have some good things here happening for us right now as it is, right? So patience, know what you have. Do not get levered on these things. Do not go and leverage. Buy stocks, or you can maybe play a little bit with some options and things like that, but that should not be your main vehicle for getting into these assets. That's just my take on it. All right, that's it. Let's get into Q&A here. As always, spreadsheet is going to be available to the Patreon members there. I'll send this out probably tonight or tomorrow morning sometime, but I will get this out to you guys as well. And let's get into Q&A, okay? All right. Let's see, what time are we? We're doing really good on time here. Okay, as always, with the questions, if you could preface those with a question mark or a Q, I would appreciate it. I'm going to scroll my way up and work my way down as always, and then we will work our way down. All right, let's see here. Kaz says, Friday was a buying opportunity. I completely agree here. I escaped Friday, bloodbath, bought and sold in a few minutes after open. Very nice, awesome. Angie says, hi, Seb and everyone else. Hi, Angie. Rob, hi. Alexander, hi, guys. Let's see, East Coast overnight trading is rocketing. It is, yep, which is nice to see. Kaz says, I feel like we should always keep some dry powder ready for when President throws a tantrum. It's not just for that. I think ideally you should always have some dry powder to use. I should probably listen to my own advice on that. But with me building out my basement here, it's sucking up a lot of the capital because I don't want to sell any of the stocks that I have right now. So I'm just doing what I can to do two things at once. Hold on to what I got and build out what I need, right? So what else we got here? All right. Sodahead says, but today they will bounce since Gaza deal. There is a Gaza deal, obviously, right? They're supposed to be exchanging the prisoners of prisoners, I think it is, right? What's the other term for that? Prisoners, and there's another one. Oh gosh, I'm drawing a blank on it right now. But you guys know what I mean. Yeah, that should be helping also. That might be going away. All right. Let's see here. Sakaro, did you build a shed? I did not build my shed. No, I actually had a company come in and do it for me. I probably could have done it. The only thing was always for me was the roof. Not great at doing roofs. All right. Let's see. Kyle says Bitfarms back to $5. Yeah, it's awesome. Let's go. Absolutely. All right. Okay. Trade Wiki asks East Coast. Where can I check overnight prices? Check Yahoo Finance. That's where I usually check them. They will have that overnight hours on there. So do that. Robinhood is another one that you can check for overnight prices as well. All right. Stephen asks, what happened to Uptober? It is still happening. It was a little delayed here in the last couple of days, but I think it will still happen here. I know Bitcoin is probably still down from where it should be. Let me see, where's Bitcoin? Is Bitcoin still up or red in the green? Red or green in the month here. Let's see, let me refresh this really quick. I checked that on Friday. Friday we were obviously down here, but I think we're going to be back up. Yeah, we are back up a little bit here for October as it is right now. We're up 1.14% in October as of right now. We were down on Friday, actually, right, with Bitcoin being down and everything else. All right, let's go back here. All right, NG, how much can Bitfarms go to if they have their HPCI business plays out similar to IREN? They have less megawatts. I think they have like a third to half less of what IREN has, right? Something like that. Excuse me. So they also have a lot more shares outstanding, right? About 500 million shares outstanding roughly or so. So that's going to limit how much the price goes up because, right, you got a lot more shares outstanding. But them getting to like $10, I think is doable. Going beyond that is even possibly doable. But them, building out Panther Creek and getting the $300 million used as a project financing. That's a huge deal for them. They can actually build that out in next year. So that's going to be awesome to see how that plays out for them. All right, SK question. If Bitfarms gets deals, say similar to Cypher or lesser, what would price be? Again, I think, I don't know if they want to go for a deal with somebody. They could, obviously, but it's going to take a little bit longer to get a deal from them. And as far as where the price could go, I think on the anticipation of that deal, possibly, the stock could go like I said, to around $10, I think would be a pretty fair valuation right now. And it could go even higher than that. All right. Let's see. Steven says, supposedly Zcash did even better than expected. Money moved to privacy coin. Okay, interesting. Yeah. All right, so ahead. Sebastian, which miner is best right now after the Friday fall? A lot of these guys, right? I still think CleanSpark's undervalued. I think Hive is still undervalued. Bitfarms is still undervalued. Even Cypher and IREN, I would say as well. All of these guys. If you were able to buy on a dip on Friday, that was awesome, right? But sometimes you don't know where the dip's going to end. So if you bought, you may want to hold a little powder back to buy again if we dip a little bit more here, because you just never know. All right. Jumpman says, first time visiting in 12-ish months. Congratulations on sticking with the miners. Oh, thank you very much. We had a lot of people that were in the miners last year, got out of the miners when things weren't going great. And we're seeing some of those people come back in here as the miners are doing much better here. Rob says, Trump needs to take a pill and chill. Yeah, or at least have the conversations in private with other countries. Don't do it publicly unless you actually want the market to drop, and then do it publicly. All right. Question, what miners can we buy now in current volatile market? Like I said, I think a lot of these guys, right? Bitfarms, Hive, CleanSpark, Cypher, IREN, Riot even, those guys, I think you can still buy into them, right? Anybody that's got potential for HPCI or going in that direction, I think is still a buy right now, because they have megawatts. They got a lot of megawatts available to them still that they could possibly rotate into HPCI. So that's the way we're going in right now. All right. That's got another question here. Is Cypher going to announce second deal anytime soon? What price you'll see if they get a similar deal like the first one? Okay. Tyler Page has stated that they are working on other deals potentially. That they might be able to announce another 1 or 2 deals here later on this year. So if they do announce another one similar to what they had before here, we could see the stock obviously go up another 30-40%. But then again, if they, I would say that. I could see that happening here relatively quickly. All right, Rob, Hive is a good miner to get into. It is, like I've said before, it is, in my opinion, way undervalued. But again, like I've said before, also, they don't have any operations in the United States. I don't know if that will hamper their growth. It doesn't seem like it has so far, but it was way, way undervalued. So it's just getting re-rated right now. But I do think, it is still a good one there. All right, John Kurtz, the Taco Man, got his ass handled to him by China. I don't know about that. Gary Seb, I hate when you broadcast head-to-head with Iron Spaces on Sunday night, but it is what it is. Yeah, I know. The guys over there, Kamasutra, who else is over there as well? They do a great job as well. And I tried to go a little bit late because I know that I think they usually finish up around 10 o'clock. So I try to stay out of that, right, for competing spaces. What else? Dave, Taco is your daddy. All right. The Astronomer Travels. Do you have a red Monday, then a green Tuesday? It could play out that way, right? Right now, the things are up pre-market, but we could end up being red tomorrow nonetheless, and then possibly have a green Monday, or a green Tuesday. Or we could have a green Monday and a green Tuesday as well, right? With the market, seeing that they overreacted, people that sold out have cash on the sidelines right now, and they may, rotate a little bit into something else or something like that, but they might get back into it as well. Guy says, please look at CleanSpark chart. It is looking strong. Entered around 19 and was thinking about exiting on Friday at 22, but never did. Do you still think CleanSpark can head toward 25 this month? Yeah, I do think so. I don't need to look at the chart. I can just look at where they're going as far as their potential is with megawatts and sites. Right, one of the things that Mike has said, Mike Alfred on the Space today, is they have a lot of sites, right? A lot of sites that have access to fiber, which are also not too far from other metropolitan areas. So like I've said before with CleanSpark, people are saying that they're late into this. Their sites are smaller. like, yeah, but that, never say never on these things. We need to know what their sites are like. But even being late sometimes is not a bad thing. Sometimes it can be a good thing because you learn from the mistakes of others that they have done, right? I always give the example of Apple. Apple was late to the smartphone game. It was late to the MP3 player space, right? So being late sometimes can be a benefit also. So we'll see. I think it still has, great potential here going forward, which I'm happy about. All right, Thomas, you think Riot will go up as soon as we get more info on HPC? Yeah, if we get something concrete from them or anything, I mean, they've been pretty coy and quiet about it. So if they do provide some kind of information as far as, they're getting close to signing a deal with a customer or something like that for something, then yeah. Kaz says, okay, yeah, hostages. Thank you. Not prisoners, but hostages. Yep, thank you on that one. Victor C., which miner will be the next IREN? What are your thoughts? Honestly, to be level with you guys, I think it might be CleanSpark or Cypher, actually. Cypher is obviously looking into going to becoming a neo cloud as well. We know that CleanSpark is leaning in that direction right now. So that would be the ones I would be looking out for that could possibly have that type of a run, right? If they start announcing we're going to do a project pilot site for 50 megawatts or 30 megawatts, whatever it might be, we're going to buy up GPUs. And CleanSpark has that optionality because they have over, well, I think it's still $1.5 billion in Bitcoin. So they could use a portion of that if they wanted to fund it without diluting shares or doing convertible notes. And that would be really, really interesting to see if they would do something like that. Because they have used Bitcoin in the past to grow. We saw it last cycle. Hopefully we see it again this cycle. Because the companies right now are not getting a premium on the HODL that they have. It's nice that they do have a HODL because as Bitcoin goes up, obviously they have more cash basically at that point that they can deploy into something else. And if they do that, I think that would be great. Right? I think you can HODL and also do things that will grow the business even further along the way. So we'll see. Shinshi question, man, I don't keep dry powder during the best days of the bull run. I would rather keep a tight manual stop loss like at 5% for the PF rather than miss out on the gains for imaginary flush crash. That's definitely one way to play it, but sometimes you get those stop losses that don't get triggered because the things just go too fast. Heard about a lot of people also not having those stop losses get filled because things went down so fast, they just couldn't get covered. That's also something to think about there. Let's see, Sarmel says, CleanSpark going to 40-50 in short term. Double from here, that'd be awesome. All right. Victor, do you more invested in CleanSpark or Cypher? I am more invested in CleanSpark because I've been buying CleanSpark since 2022. So I've been dollar cost averaging into that one for a long time. I have a heck of a lot more shares, a lot more capital deployed in that one. And if you guys recall, Cypher again, Cypher earlier this year. So didn't have as much in it, but they're both up. When I checked Friday, they were both up. Well, at one point before we crashed, I think I was up on both of those over 200%. So I was doing great on both of them. All right. Let's see here. Ryan Buell celebrates 31 months of membership. Panther Creek, 60% of the time. It works every time. Okay, awesome. Yeah, thanks for being here for that many. That's basically like pretty much where I started out. I think maybe a little bit longer than that, but really close to that. So, Brian, thank you for being here all this time. Chicago Runner, I think we will see the return of the King Mara. They have access to tons of capital by borrowing against their HODL. With Coinbase, if they purchase Blackwell chips or similar, they'll fly. They do have the potential there as well. I will give them that. Right, they do have a lot of megawatts. Also, 65% of that is owned. The rest is obviously hosted still, but they do have potential to do that. So we'll see. I mean, right, they might be the last one into it, but still do really well. All right, Gary, don't you feel anyone going the neo cloud route successfully will trade at a premium over those renting out their sites? Isn't this why IREN trades higher without a rental deal? Yes, this is what I'm believing also. All right. IFS trades. Powell speaking Tuesday, thinking we get another sell-off. Depending if he sounds hawkish or dovish, right? Economic data as well. But if we are still in a shutdown, I don't think we get the jobless claims and CPI, PMI. Yeah, I don't know if we're going to get that or not if they're still shut down either. No, that's a good question there. Rob, question. I'm totally clear on MicroStrategy, but are they just a pure Bitcoin miner and treasury and zero on AI HPC data? Well, MSTR doesn't do anything other than accumulate Bitcoin. They're not even a Bitcoin miner. They don't mine any Bitcoin. They don't have any data centers or anything like that. They might have a data center, obviously, for their own business for strategy, but that's about it. All right, Bevny, if you had 2,000 and only had one miner to buy, which one? Oh my gosh, that's never an easy question. I would say look into, like I've said before, I think CleanSpark, Hive, and IREN, Bitfarms are still way undervalued from where they should be. So those are the ones I'll be looking at. I can't tell you which one to get into, but those are the ones. But again, one of the other ones might surprise us. All right. See, Victor C. Question: Cypher closer to revenue to what? To I'm not sure what you mean by to revenue though. All right. Michael says, let's see here. Sebastian, Trump Media and Technology Group (DGHI) has accumulated approximately $2 billion in Bitcoin and related assets, representing about 2/3 of its total liquid assets. No tariffs. Yeah, they do have a lot, obviously there. Annie. Trump posted a few months ago that he was going to make everyone rich. Just have some money ready to buy. Trump knows how to make the market work. Sell when you have enough and get ready to buy the dip. Yep, there you go. All right. Michael BMNR trading over 50. That DJT has twice the amount or more than BMNR. More Bitcoin than BMNR? BMNR is Ethereum, right? That's Ethereum, not Bitcoin. Let's see. Brody, question: how high would Bitfarms need to go for you to start slicing profits? My average on it is $1.55 here, so we can get it closer to like $7, $8, $10. I would probably start, maybe nibbling a little bit off the top there a little bit, but I haven't done that with IREN yet. I'm still holding, obviously, and my average on that one was $8 something. So I'm willing to wait and see where they run to. I don't think we have reached peak euphoria or peak FOMO or anything like that yet on these guys, and I think they still have more room to run. I could be wrong, but that's just kind of where I'm going with right now with the data and everything else I'm seeing. Okay, so, but that's kind of where I would be looking more or less. All right, Mr. X, this Friday pullback was quite a healthy pullback, right? Well, it was, I wouldn't say it's healthy because a lot of people got liquidated. This was a flash crash, which obviously hurt a lot of people. So in that regard, I wouldn't say it was healthy. Did we need a pullback? Yes, we needed a pullback, but not this type of a pullback. A slow decline, a couple percentage points, something like that, yeah, that would have been fine. But this was rough to a lot of people here, so I wouldn't call that healthy because, some people have, from what I've heard, ended their lives, unfortunately, because of this, which is tragic in itself, right? Right, DGT could be the best, could be the beat with $2 billion of assets. Could be the one to beat, maybe, yeah. Victor C, hopefully Cypher gets a deal and go NeoCloud as well. Yeah, I'd much rather see them go NeoCloud more so. They said, what is it, Barber Lake has 50 megawatts or something like that. They could do a project on that, just to obviously get their feet wet in it, test it out, see how it goes. And we might see that later on, maybe not this year, but maybe next year. All right. Shinshi is the Mining Mafia discussion program running tonight. I tried to search for the schedule on X after someone mentioned it in here and could not find it. Is it scheduled tonight? No, it wasn't scheduled tonight. I didn't get anything from Ernest on that, so I don't think it was happening tonight. I think it's maybe next week we'll be back on, I think. I don't know. I haven't talked to Ernest here. He's been on vacation, obviously, and just getting back in the swing of things here. Guys, is it okay to take a position on Bitfarms around 425? And what's your price target for Bitfarms this year? This year, with the news that came out here recently, I think it's going to go up higher. There's just good stuff obviously happening for them. I could see them, I don't know if this year is going to happen, but between somewhere $8 and $10 is kind of where I could see them, but they could run up there here relatively quickly and going beyond them, because right now all the megawatts are being revalued on all these guys here. All right, Victor, if Cypher gets into NeoCloud, is it possible it hits $50? What do they have shares outstanding right now? 300 some. Let's do the math really quick here. Let's see your Cypher. Cypher has almost 400 million shares outstanding. $50 would give him what? What is that? that'd be 20 billion. Is my math right on that? 20 billion market cap. They have a 6.6 billion. Yeah, they're at 16. So that would be roughly 3 times from where they are right now. So yeah, that would get them closer to 20 billion market cap. IREN right now has a market cap of 16 billion. So that would possibly get them above them. So I don't know. That'd be tough. Without having a huge deal with somebody else and then also getting to Neo, or maybe doing NeoCloud, not getting a deal with anybody else, it'd be tough. If we can get to like $40 or something like that, $35, $40, I think that would be pretty fair. But it also depends on how much of a NeoCloud they become, right? How many megawatts do they put into it and everything else, and how fast they're growing on it. That's just my take. All right. Okay. Rob, question. So if MicroStrategy only buys Bitcoin, and that means Hive is a more advantageous company because they mine their own Bitcoin and zero markup. Well, there's obviously cost to it, right? When they mine it at a higher cost. I think their cost last quarter was around $70 or 70,000, 80,000, something like that. But that was cash cost, not including stock-based compensation, depreciation, all that stuff in there. So yes, they do mine it at a lower cost. Same thing goes for CleanSpark, obviously, IREN and all those other guys that mine it right now. And then MicroStrategy is basically buying at spot. So wherever the spot price is, that's what they're paying for. So as Bitcoin price goes up and they continue to buy, they're buying it at the higher price. But I love the fact that they're buying it, right? But I'm just not a big fan of the company there. All right, Shinshi, I agree with the pullback was needed to cool the markets down. Yeah, I agree. Pullback was nice, but not that kind of a pullback. Mr. X, can we expect CleanSpark to keep rally up this coming week? I mean, it's up a little bit after or pre-market hours right now. Let's see, where is it at right now? It is still up. It's come down a little bit. It's still up 4.1% here pre-market at least. So we could see that. And if they come out with any kind of good news or they're going to be doing any kind of projects or pilot projects, something like that, that could definitely help the stock there. And it'll just depend on what they report. And then we also have the quarterly results coming up in about, I would say, 2 to 4 weeks from these guys here, from all of these guys. So we'll get that information as well. And then if they can provide any insight during the presentations there, they could also help out. So we'll see. Hard to tell right now, but I'm in it right now. I'm still holding on to these guys here. Been holding on for a long time. I'm planning on holding on a little bit longer here as well. All right. So I think we've cut up to all the questions here. I'm probably going to call it a night. Start of the fresh week tomorrow. Hopefully it's going to be a better one than what we ended up on Friday, but I think it might be. And I wish you guys a great week. Hopefully you can, gain back all the losses that you had. And, hopefully you guys don't, if you didn't already do leverage, hopefully you don't do leverage or do a very, very small percentage of your portfolio in leverage so you don't get wrecked like a lot of people did get wrecked on Friday. Okay? That's my little PSA there. Yeah. Hope you guys have a great week. Love you all. I will see you guys tomorrow. Until then, bye.